Tom Pearson, getting ready for the debate tonight. So hopefully if you didn't get a chance to come, you'll check this out.
It's hard for the seniors, right? So, but I mean, if that's the case, then I'll walk you through it. I'm willing to do that. So, even if I don't get elected, I run into these types of situations at fair rate. I don't usually make it. So that's why I will call for it.
No, I appreciate that. You've always done a big of job in getting yourself represented and just getting out in the community and talking to people, right? Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And I first want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know it's a big night for baseball, but we do really appreciate you coming out tonight and listening to what we have to say. I'm Tom Pearson. I'm running for Ward 5 Councillor in Newmarket. I grew up in the area, so I'm one that is very passionate about this community. Over 20 years ago, I got involved first with the youth center. I was on that original committee that started the youth center, and our first center was right there on Main Street at the old theater, which has now become a karate home. After that, I got involved also with the Easter Seals program. We had the Great York Region Restaurant Race, which we raised $100,000 for Easter Seals. This all happened while I was working for Cover Story newspaper, writing about the industry, about entertainment, about the hospitality industry, which I still continue today online. If you Google Main Street Newmarket, you'll see TPE Productions and Tom's Top 10, again today, promoting downtown and Main Street and all of Newmarket. I'm very, very well known for my community efforts, my community building efforts. I've been very, very well known in political circles as well, and I have lots of experience, not only creating entities, but chairing them, not only boards, but committees, and as well, you might have heard of a little thing called the Friendly Neighborhood Youth Road Hockey Challenge, which I also started and ran for 12 years. Now recently we were stopped from playing at our original location, even though we supported it being built at Riverwalk Commons.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tom Pearson. I'm running for Ward 5 Councillor in Newmarket. Like most of Newmarket, you're probably excited about Hockey Night in Canada coming here to play some ball hockey at Riverwalk Commons. I know I am. In fact, I've been excited about it for 12 years because that's where we've been playing our Friendly Neighborhood Youth Road Hockey Challenge up until recently, when we were told we couldn't play here anymore. So I'm here today to start a petition to bring road hockey back to Riverwalk Commons. I figure, hey, if they can bring Hockey Night in Canada here and allow them to play, why wouldn't they allow us to play? I just don't get it.
That the whole dream of a goalie is to play for peanuts. Not the meager money you make in the American Hockey League, but the peanuts they give you when you fly first class on an airplane after you make it to the NHL. It's fantastic.
This is an exciting day to kick off the the 60th anniversary of the Newmarket Minor Hockey Association.
Good job, Mr. Mayor. Right back at you.
As places began to disappear that I grew up with, that I thought there should be a lot more thought involved before those places go somewhere. And I started to realize that, you know, maybe they didn't have the best interests of the residents of Newmarket in mind when they're developing Glenway, and when the McGregor farm was disappearing, and when the Upper Canada farm was disappearing, and with the control of the town clock on Main Street. These were important assets that I see disappearing in town here, and I don't see a process that I think that I trust. And that's why I've decided to run and help put an end to this. I'm Tom Pearson. I'm running for Ward 5 Councillor in Newmarket.
Let me start by telling you about who I am. I'm a hard worker. I believe that if you're going to do something, you should put 100% into whatever you're doing. I will work for you to get things done and ensure that it is done in a fiscally responsible manner. I not only want you to know who I am, but also you should know What count? For example, I will use my 30 years of business experience in telecommunications field, digital accessibility, that is wireless and wireline, such as broadband.
Yeah, thank you. The three that would stick out for me would be development, including like the clock tower. I've also heard a lot about the lack of affordability for youth and family activities for children, and for also traffic concerns. Now, as far as the traffic concerns, what I've most heard is because of the increased construction, we're getting a lot more traffic on our back roads during times when we wouldn't necessarily have had that before. And in taking a look at that, there are studies that show if you have those traffic display signs up, that will decrease the traffic speed by 20%. That's been done around York region to show that already. And if you also, in addition to that, add what I call an edge line system. An edge line system acts to calm traffic. It's a traffic calming system. So I don't know if Bob has studied this yet, but if you combine those two together, you will find that you've really accomplished something in terms of calming traffic.
Yes, I did on Parkview Crescent. That's just off Queen Street.
No, I don't, but the only promise I've made throughout this entire campaign is that if I win, I will move back into the ward where I raised my children as a single dad.
That's more than one word, but thank you. Right. I've lived in Newmarket 30 years, but I currently reside in Ward 3. And the question is, what is your bold idea for Newmarket?
My idea might not be bold, but we definitely need to improve what we're doing. I need to focus, or we'd like to focus better on digital accessibility. That means wireless accessibility, and that is also affordable broadband. I feel that's the only way we're going to be able to attract economic growth. Having over 30 years of experience shaping our digital landscape across Canada. And
I'd like to get known for a couple of things. One is bringing more movie productions to our main street, and another one is really improving on the events that we already have and using some ingenuity in figuring out ways that we can do those things. One is that we have an issue with parking. So down the line we're going to be doing something about parking, but what can we do in the meantime? Well, I have a plan to expand our car show by 300 cars that will attract people from right across the GTA, GTHA, Brampton, biggest car show in the entire area, but how will we park them? Well, we've got the Riverwalk Commons, and we have, at the very end of it, we've got a tannery mall there that's completely empty on the weekends. Can you imagine if we had a shuttle service that shuttled people over from that completely empty parking lot over to our events while they're happening on Main Street? In fact, our train, our Tim Hortons train that runs around in a circle, why couldn't that run up and down Riverwalk Commons, bringing extra families back and forth to that parking lot as well?
This one comes from Gordon Prentice, and the question is the proposed clock tower development a great example of the intensification we need?
well, let me start by being very clear. I will not support 7 stories. I've been very clear about that throughout. But also, I will not be narrow-minded to say 3 stories or nothing. With the clock tower, it seems to be black and white. I like by ensuring that we meet halfway, or if there's something that's worthwhile looking and viewing.
I wish that we could wish the 3 stories on the clock tower, but we cannot. Now, I've met with the developers recently, and I've looked them right in the eyes, and I've suggested what Bob's suggesting, a compromise. And I looked them right in the eyes and suggested 5 floors, as I thought maybe, there might be some bite there. But what they're very clear about is this financially feasible. They need a certain footprint to do that. And this is a $50 million building. If we think they're going to fold up their tent and go home and build and let us get away and let us have 3 floors that we would like to get away with, I believe that we're dreaming in Technicolor, and it's unfortunate, but that will not happen. And we've got 2 roads we can go down on this. They both lead to the same place. One is very expensive, one is much shorter and less expensive. We can decide, we can point fingers all day about why we got in this position, but we must support the town clock moving forward. And let's get on with doing business of the business of Main Street.
Thanks, Tom.
I will not be doing any deals with the developer. I will not be selling any land. 100%, I will be voting against anything above 3 stories.
Thank you.
I also have been given the report tonight from the BIA saying the majority of them are against the 7 stories. So if the business owners of Main Street have spoken, I think we should listen to
During
them.
the last municipal election in 2014, the Gigabit Broadband Initiative was a contentious issue. Some saw it as a wise investment, attracting large employers and creating more jobs. Some saw it as a burden on the taxpayer with limited return.
And that's exactly what we focused on, is broadband. If we don't have affordable broadband, if we don't invest in affordable broadband, broadband is the foundation of...
Nothing's happened with it so far. It was a huge thing that went on in 2014, and so far as I've seen, there's been no progress on it in any way. Like Daryl, I agree it should be something that the private sector takes care of. The town, as it is carrying a massive debt to begin with, and starting another project that can be turned into another white elephant, much like how much our current Old Town Hall cost us. That is not something that I want to further take on for the town.
Yes, I remember hearing about the broadband from the mayor. I believe the broadband idea is very overrated. We don't have the businesses here to begin with. We need to attract businesses here before we start walking down a broadband road. And if we think just by having broadband and expanding on that is going to attract the businesses here, again, we're dreaming in Technicolor. We've done a very poor job at creating jobs here in Newmarket. We're at the very bottom of that scale. And just by bringing in broadband is not going to change that. We need to get to work to actually bringing jobs here. I'd like to increase how many movies are produced here.
What are your strategies to drive new retail businesses to Main Street to create a healthy balance between retail, restaurant, and office spaces?
Well, if you look online, you'll see already I've blogged about this quite a bit. My plan is very proactive. I've actually been trained as a business broker. So what that means is I've been trained. I didn't work at it very long, but I was trained in it. So what that means is I'm able to go out and figure out businesses that may want to set up shop on Main Street. I'm able to prospect for them and to bring them down there and to set them up in shops and in locations on Main Street. I recently, actually, while this has been going on, I've been bringing someone in to see a club that's actually located below the Made in Mexico location. They've been in there twice and asked to look at a lease now. So this is what I believe to be, is to be proactive. I think we should put together a wish list of businesses. That's what I've said in the past. Let's put together a wish list of businesses we'd like to have there. Let's not wait for them to come and approach us. Let's approach them. We make a wish list of places we'd love to see on our Main Street, approach them and get them there.
If you've seen this man, we need your help to get him on the council.